Welcome! When it comes to your comic book superheroes, my favourite is and always has been the world's greatest detective, the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Now I know superhero is a bit of a stretch because he hasn't got any superpowers, but billionaire's a superpower. I wouldn't mind it. And I love the games. I've played the vast majority of them, and a lot of them are really, really good. But I think we can all agree upon, that they really reached their pinnacle when they created the Arkham series. Asylum, groundbreaking. City, still considered one of the best superhero games ever, and that was released in 2011. Knight did get a little bit of grief, but I liked it. It depends how much you like Batmobile. I thought it was great, each to their own. But there's one there that's always ignored, and it was actually very good too. And it's a real shame that, physically at least, it's trapped very firmly on the 7th generation, PS3, Xbox 360, with as much chance of getting a remaster as I've got of pulling Amanda Holden. It is the forgotten, the ignored Arkham game. It's not been part of the re-release trilogy that they brought out on the PS4. But why? When it was so good. I'm of course talking Arkham Origins. The third game in the Arkham series, this is set 8 years before Arkham Asylum, so chronologically, it's the first one. It takes inspiration from the Batman Year 1 comic books, and of course is its own thing as well. You've got a younger, less refined Batman, only in his second year as the Caped Crusader, and it all takes place on Christmas Eve. So you could think of it as a Christmas game. First of all, visually, it looks stunning. The open world Gotham City is brilliant. The actual effects for all the characters, including of course the Bat himself, superb. And the plot here is actually really, really good. A mysterious villain known as Black Mask has placed a $50 million bounty on Batman's head. This has attracted 8 assassins. It has also encouraged some, let's say, not well behaved police officers to have a go for the bounty themselves. The assassins are Bane, Deadshot, Deathstroke, Copperhead, Firefly, that's a really good boss battle, that's really good fun, that one, Electrocutioner, Killer Croc, and Shiva. But do not fear. The expected rogues gallery such as the Penguin and the Joker are seizing opportunity to create chaos. And oh yes, you will get a chance to give them a bit of a beating too. Or will they beat you? Now at this point you might be shouting at the screen saying, we know why this game's ignored. It wasn't created by Rocksteady. It was WB Montreal. And you're right. It was passed along to them to develop because Rocksteady was working on Arkham Knight. And they simply couldn't produce another game before that was ready, and it was going to take a few years. And they wanted this extra edition in the series. That sounds a bit like video game developer politics to me, and I'm not interested. I just think this is a brilliant game. It plays just like the other Arkham games. You wouldn't really know it was a different developer, at least in my opinion. It's great. Where's my remaster? Anyway, whilst keeping all the familiar tropes that we like from the previous 2 Arkham games, this is the first game to allow you to virtually create crimes at the crime scene in a first-person perspective. This was so popular, of course, it carried on with Arkham Knight, and indeed there was its own VR game based on this. Detective Batman or something along those lines, I can't remember the full title, but it was popular. The mechanic itself was the main basis of the game, so they did something right there. And I enjoyed it as well, I've got to say. As I've already said, the combat there is very much copy-paste from the previous games, which in itself was quite innovative at the time. I mean, it's so good that Spider-Man 2018, Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2 actually borrowed from it. Okay, they developed in their own ways to suit Spider-Man, as they should, and it's brilliant on them too. But still, it was based on that because it was just so good, it's still being used. You get some new gadgets along the way, don't get me wrong, and you also get the expected upgradable, unlockable options, as well as Batman's abilities along the way. Being an open world game, what would an open world game be without side missions and collectibles? And these are abound. My favourite ones are actually where you get the crimes in progress, where you go and help or rescue, in some cases, the cops. and bring down a criminal that they are after and perhaps not succeed in getting. Although they still then go after you sometimes, so they're not always grateful. You also get the most wanted missions. A good example of this is where you get to stop Anarchy's bombs. A little bit of a time test there as you saw through Gotham City using the grapnel boost. And collectible wise, oh yes, the Riddler challenges are back. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them in all 4 games actually. So you don't have to do them. They're not integral to the game, but you've been missing out. They're good fun. Overall, I just really like this game. Every boss fight was brilliant. As I've already said, Fireflies was perhaps my favourite one. Really good fun. I love the open world. It actually felt a little bit more flushed out to me than Arkham City, but that might just be my impression. Let me know yours in the comments. I like the side missions. They felt random. They felt organic, like you really were just stumbling across something at the time. The story, absolutely beautiful. Loved every minute of it, and they managed to get so many DC characters in there for me to just enjoy, well, mainly pummeling as Batman actually. You got the stealth aspect when you're trying to sneak up behind people with guns, smoke bombs. You've got this, it's a bit like Just Cause, where you can grapple one enemy to another or grapple one enemy to another thing with the grappling hook. That's always good fun as well. Everybody likes throwing a batarang at a baddie, don't they? It just works. I don't know why this has been relegated as the poor relative in the Arkham series. Especially after I've played Gotham Knights, which was a yawn. Very much a yawn. But then I might be biased because it didn't have Batman. It got mainly average reviews from the critics, which probably hasn't helped, and they were mostly focused towards the fact that it didn't really innovate from the previous games. And they're right, it didn't innovate much. The most innovative new mechanic was the detective vision I've already spoke about, where you go into the first person perspective and you recreate the crimes. That's about as much innovation as the game gave us, really. But that's okay. Not everything needs to reinvent the wheel. If you've got something that works absolutely superbly, like Asylum and then City did, the fans want more of the same, or at least I as a fan am very happy just to receive more of the same with another engaging story and some new characters. I don't know if I'm alone there. That's something else you could let me know in the comments. Do you like innovation with every game, or you're happy with more of the same as long as it was good to begin with? It was only released 2 years after City, so 2013. We were still riding the high of the Batman. He was back. He was bringing back superhero games in general. To me, this game suffered simply because it was just good enough. And that, to me, is a shame, because it was very good. It is still good. Graphically, I think it still holds up. But let me know what you think. Are you a big fan of Arkham Origins? Do you disagree with it being treated as the poor relative in the series? Do you like Gotham Knights? Have I upset you there? Love to hear from you all as always. As I always say, there's absolutely no wrong answer. Games are there purely for one purpose, to bring you joy and enjoyment. This game brings that to me, it might bring it to you as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed my content and you want to press like or even subscribe, I'll be exceptionally grateful. If not, no worries, you've watched my video and that means a lot. Until next time, I'll see you soon.